Unless you've been living under a rock the past 4 months in the MMA community, Ian Garry and Ian Garry's wife have been subject to a bit of a battering in the media. They've been one of the biggest names in combat sports. Ian Garry was the biggest thing in MMA in November, December time. And when I was in Thailand at that point, training full time, I didn't have really much time to sit and make videos on the matter. One of the videos I made on Ian Garry and his wife got, I think, 2,300 views, something like that. And this video is essentially me speaking about the situation after the whole Ian Garry's win over Geoff Neal at UFC 298. He won by split decision. I realistically thought it could have been 29-28 for Ian Garry unanimously. However, a split decision in the grand scheme of things, a win's a win, you know. But in all honesty, folks, I owe Layla an apology, and I owe Ian Garry an apology. Okay, listen. To me, the situation is weird, but because Ian Garry didn't do any media in the build-up to UFC in December, we could not hear his side of things. And I've let the dust settle, I've let him do his interviews, and I've rewatched a few of them. The guy is he's a lovely guy. Like, Ian Garry's a really nice, genuine guy. However, he's just quite unlikable, which is weird to say out loud. And the fans like to just stir the pot. They like to talk shit. They like to run with a narrative. And I did myself as well. I gave my opinions on it. I said, Ian Garry's too far gone. Layla is a succulus. I said all this type of thing. And I'm apologising for it. I genuinely take it back. I was just kind of running with the rest of the narrative the community did. That's something that comes with me being relatively new to the MMA YouTube scene. However, it is weird. I must admit, the situation is weird considering she wrote the WAG book, and then also Ian Garry, I think, was 22 when they first met, and she was 34, I think it is, 34, 35, and she was like, oh, I'll pay for you to go move to America with me, you can train full time, I'll financially support you, which is what she did. And the reason I know that is because I was a massive Ian Garry fan, I still am to this day, and I commented on an Instagram post saying, look Ian, I'm an aspiring fighter also, how did you afford to move to the USA at 23 years of age? And he replied to the comment saying, look, my lovely wife financially supported me, and now I'm doing my dreams, he's financially supporting her. Very nice situation for Layla. She kind of invested in him, and now he's a top 6 fighter in the world. He's about to break into the top 5 and get a title shot. So we can't fault them. And when I heard Ian Garry on the MMA Hour talking about finding the sort of the spiritual stuff, and the only really 2 people in his life that ever really believe in the spiritual stuff and the spiritual connection was Ian Garry's grandmother and Layla. And I was like, you know what? I completely understand how maybe you fell for this woman, a former model, like beautiful lady. She's a wee bit older, but you ignore that because she's mature. She's spiritual the same way you are. She wants to travel the world, help you grow, help you train, raise a family. People are jealous of Ian Garry, I think. People are fucking jealous of Ian Garry, and that's where the hate comes from, because they want to be living the life he's living. They want a beautiful wife. Yeah, she's older. She's gorgeous, though. She's absolutely smoking hot to some people. And I think people are jealous of the life he lives. People can hate him and think he's weird, but his nutritionist doesn't live with him. Does not live with him. And I think people need to start understanding that you're tearing down a young man who's doing what I would love to do with my life. And he said that. He said, look, he's doing what he loves. And I said to myself, Finn, you got views off of slagging them off and calling them weirdos, but he is a young guy. He's 26, in the top 10 of the UFC, doing what my dream job is, essentially. Living the lifestyle I would love to live. I would love to train in Brazil. I was in Thailand, and I would love to go to Brazil. And he got financially supported by Layla. And yeah, he's obsessed with her. He loves her to pieces. But as any man should with their wife, they're a team. They're a family. He's comfortable. He's a grown man. He's comfortable in the fact that she would never be disloyal. She's comfortable in the fact that she's not using him for money. They've got a kid together now anyway. He walked out to the song Layla. He's hopelessly in love. Fair enough. And I made a video on Ian Garry about 8 months ago, maybe 9 months ago now, saying the video title is Ian Garry's Mindset of Growth. And I basically sit in front of a camera before you, and I sit and I talk about Ian Garry and how he's got this mindset about just wanting to improve and wanting to be better and wanting to grow. And it's so powerful to have that mindset. You constantly have a white belt attitude, a learning mindset. And what I actually really liked what Ian Garry said was Ian Garry said in the locker room before every fight, they say a prayer, then he gets down on his hands and knees I think he said about 20 minutes before he goes out. And he, like clockwork, every time he just bawls, he starts crying. And he said about how he lets all of this energy, this cooped up tears, and you know, that type of energy that makes you want to cry. When you've got the urge to cry, it has a bit of, it holds energy in you, you know, you're using energy to hold back these emotions. He frees himself, and that's one thing that I really relate to when in competition. I want to be calm and breathe and have nothing in my head except being in a flow state and going out there and doing the job. And to hear Ian Garry cries before going out, not because he's nervous, not because he's afraid, just he's getting all that negative energy out of him or any worry out of him. So you go in there, it's like the shackles have been loosened off you and you're free now, you're light, you're fast, you've not got any bad energy weighing you down, and it's a mental game. I've always said, I will 100% think is the top elite athletes mentally are the strongest, because they can compete under this high pressure and have nothing holding them back, take risks without worrying about the consequences, because they're so mentally sound, so mentally in awe of themselves. They have this aura about them. And I just wanted to say, Ian Garry's doing everything right. And this is the video saying, stop Ian Garry hate. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I'm going to get blasted in the comments for this. The guy might be unlikable, his voice might be weird, but so we all are fucking weirdos. You guys hating him online. It's fun to hate people, right enough. It's fun to bully people online, like it is. It's fun to sit and bully Ian Garry, and I'm not going to deny that. It's funny, like, bullying him. But realistically, you're doing it because you wish. But if you could trade your position in life, you're sat in your bedroom in your mum's house, and Ian Garry's travelling the world with his beautiful wife, his son, beautiful friends in Brazil. He's finding spirituality, he's finding religion, he's growing, he's improving, he's making good money, he's got sponsorships, he's got his vegan brand, he's got his coffee brand, he's got his future merch. You take a step back and you think, realistically, this man is doing everything correct, and the way he's come up in the ranks of the UFC without taking too much damage. Yeah, he's had a few decisions. Darren Weeks gave him a run for his money somehow. Beating Geoff Neal is a massive achievement, and let's talk a bit about that fight. That fight was a good fight. Garry was stabbing him with the front kick. The body kick was beautiful, and I seen True Geordie actually speak about this. Now I think True Geordie's a massive casual. True Geordie was saying about how Ian Garry's performance wasn't good, and I'm like, do you know how difficult it is to disarm Geoff Neal like that? And this is not me dick riding Ian Garry, this is me just saying, do you know how difficult it is to go out there and dismantle a durable, stocky, strong power puncher that comes forward and is willing to take a punch, to give a punch? Little Mike Tyson of the welterweight division. Very rare style you come across in MMA is Geoff Neal. With that 1 punch knockout, I think that styles make fights, and Ian Garry chose a much more difficult stylistic fight with Neal than he did with Luque. Luque will stand on the outside and go leg kick for right hand and jab, and then try close the distance with fast flurries. Neal will stand in the pocket and wait for you to miss, so then he can counter with a big left hook. And Garry did what he had to do to get the win, and True Geordie was absolutely ripping him to pieces, essentially saying that it's a terrible performance, he looked terrible. Do you know how difficult it is to even get a win over Neal? And yes, Shavkat did it, but Shavkat made it look messy as fuck. But Ian Garry made it look somewhat clean. You get hit. Of course you're going to get hit against a top UFC contender like that. Especially when they blitz in and use their energy to blitz in. Yes, Ian Garry's fast, and yes, Ian Garry can get out the way. What I'm saying first and foremost is, though, the cage is a small place when someone's good at cutting it off, you know? And Ian Garry, he was kind of scooting his way out, kind of doing like a wee sidestep sort of motion, which he's done in all of his UFC fights. But what I'm saying is, saying that wasn't a good performance, I think's bad, because I think it was you know what? I think it was a fucking phenomenal performance, essentially just because that is the hardest stylistic matchup for Ian Garry, and he went out there and done that. And who's in front of him now? Shavkat? That's fucking tough. That's a tough, tall striker at welterweight who have trained before, and I think Shavkat injured him in sparring with a head kick previously. Leon Edwards is actually a good stylistic matchup for him, because I feel like Ian Garry's got more cardio, or better cardio, to push a pace if he's willing to take a smack from Edwards. Belal Muhammad's a phenomenal matchup for Ian Garry. Small, stocky guy, not great on the feet, not big punching power. I think Ian Garry has a field day with Belal Muhammad. I would actually like to see that fight next if it's not Colby Covington. I think Belal versus Ian Garry. Ian Garry's a big name in combat sports. It boosts Belal's potential. You know, that's a brilliant fight. And Ian Garry's only 26. I'd like to see him take 2-3 more fights before a title shot. I'd like to actually see him fight Kamaru Usman. I think that would be a fun one, a 3-rounder. The door's wide open for him. Stop slagging him off. I'm sorry, Layla, as well. You're a lovely lady, I'm sure. You are beautiful. His walkout song as well is phenomenal. Layla! You got me... What was it? Is it like, Layla, you got me on my knees. You got me on my knees. Something like that. Anyway, love yous, folks. See you later. Don't forget to subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions. And I will see you all very, very shortly. Goodbye.